think I'm worried. It's always nerve-wracking to say if that's happening. And it's what's crazy is, both of my boys I have 18 and 16-year-old. And anytime anybody starts bringing up the idea of, oh yeah, there may be another world war, I'm not just terrified for every other life, but also those boys, because the truth is if we go to world war, it's very possible the draft will kick in. And I've got 2 boys that are that other fighting age. And not that I don't ever want them to be in the military, but I also don't want them to necessarily have to experience what I've seen people who do experience going to war. Right. And in that way, in fact, I feel like with our new president, I feel like he is looking at that bigger picture. Right. I feel like he is setting more of the boundaries and the laws and, putting his fist down, kind of being the parent and saying, this is what's going to happen, this way. And I think that's why I feel safer, right? Instead of this constant oh my gosh, I can't say it now. When not knowing, that happens. Ambiguity.
Ambivalence. Ambiguity.
I couldn't say the word. Anyways, but that's when it's constantly we're unknowing. When we don't know. And I think that causes fear and anxiety and everything else that people are talking about constantly. Instead of when we do know and we know what's expected, we know the boundaries, we know the laws, we know everything that goes into it. If we know, then it's not as scary. And I think, I don't know, that's maybe...
No, I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. I think about that too. My kids are not that old yet, but it's certainly something that I think about more often than I'd really like to think about it, because the truth of the matter is human beings fight, and it's always been true, and it will probably always be true as long as there are people. I don't like that. I don't like the idea of my son having to deal with that, or my daughter having to deal with those types of pains, the growing pains of, and the level of instability that it creates is really quite, and it must be, there's a lot of despair. I don't want them to grow up and experience despair.
Sure.
And yet I have to also say that in this life there will be trouble.
Sure.
Right? So
it's inevitable. Yes. It has to be.
Yes.
Right? Because we're human.
Right.